Next.
Yep.
We can do, yep. So, so the life mark parking requirements. That's also on page 24, near the top, under number 5. So this is come out of discussions. I understand it's been had on the residential chapter to consider the life mark requirements and to ensure that houses are built for all stages of life. And so one of those requirements is around parking, and so that's why we put it in the transport chapter, and that's that each house provides at least one car park that is suitable for a person with disabilities, and so that would require to have a non-slip surface and also require to be wide enough, and we've got dimensions in the plan so that a person with a wheelchair can access the vehicle.
So just to clarify, are we saying that every residential house which is built must provide a car park which meets the criteria for a person with disabilities? Is that what's intended?
Yes, because that's in line with the life mark requirements which I think coming.
So every new residential property which is built in the city must provide such a car park?
Yep. Yes. Yep. That's already a requirement of the Building Act. The only addition that we have put in is actually about having a non-slip surface. So the Building Act already requires that a minimum of one car park is sufficiently wide enough for a person with a disability in each house. So the only addition here over and above the Building Act is that the surface will be non-slip, so that people it's not winterised. So it's not hugely different to what is already required. Yes. Yep. If it's
Just a point of clarification then, we talk about residential units, are we talking about a private residence here or as well?
Yeah, so the definition of a residential unit is a dwelling, a house, so a private.
Oh, that's bizarre.
Sounds like it's a law.
Well, two ends. So I'm thinking, for instance, of a person living not far from us, just built a new drive, the ability to put 2 cars on it, along with 2 cars in the garage. So you're saying out of those 4, one, actually he's got a granny flat at the back, so that means there must be 2 parking spaces that are... At least one.
Yeah, so it's at least one, it's one per residential unit, so it would depend on whether that granny flat is got all the full facilities to be a standalone residential unit or not. But
if it is, then 2 spaces must be required. Okay.
But it's one per residential unit. So it's,
and this goes for with social housing. How are the rules there? Is that?
Yes. Yep.
Same. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
All have to have car parks, do they? Our units, social housing? Don't think so.
So the
Do you not currently, perhaps?
Yeah, not currently. So is that something in the future?
That's the number.
it's not respective. It's if they are providing only one car park, it must be designed for a person with a disability. So it's a minimum of one that they're providing must be for a person with a disability.
So what's the definition of a non-slip surface?
Let's take them to this page and
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
first.
I don't think we have a
concrete
definition
a
for it in the
non-slip
plan.
surface, is asphalt a non-slip surface? Or do we have to have a special textured part of the driveway that is designated for disabled non-slip capability? So, I mean, if you're building a standard house now, do we have to actually go to extra lengths to provide in the driveway some special bit of non-slip bit of surface alongside a special designated bit of disabled parking for every house that gets built. You can't have, yeah.
Okay, do
So,
one of you want to comment on
an
that?
exposed aggregate driveway, does that automatically get you around that sort of obligation? I mean, it's pretty wide and varied, that. And I mean, a lot of people in the whole lifetime of the house may never have a disabled person visit.
Yeah, it's not a there's not a strict definition for it. It's more sort of around a sort of common sense kind of rule in the fact that if someone's providing a park, they must provide it in such a way that it's not going to be easy to for someone to slip on.
It's not a question if you're providing, the wording says shall provide.
Yes, yep.
So I'm just asking, what is a non-slip surface?
Through you, Mr Chair, it wouldn't do any harm if we included some sort of definition in the plan that says something like non-slip surface includes concrete or whatever else you want to say.
Okay,
Made it clear. Yep.
so you might be able to add that just to assist in
I
terms
mean, what I'm potentially hearing is, I suppose, that what's currently being provided in most houses now, buildings, would probably comply. But the way I read this, is this a new addition to the plan?
Yes.
Yeah, and it sort of may throw a few alarm bells amongst some developers that somehow or other they've got to have a special sort of small area against where you park a car, that if someone turns up in a wheelchair or with a specific disability, that you've got to have a specific surface on the driveway.
Thanks, Dave. I think, so the staff are going to check out like a definition to add to it, and Jamie, you've got a question too.
It's just following along from that. Look, by and large, it isn't that onerous. I do understand what you're saying, though. I think my question more would be, what is a slippery surface? Because in all honesty, like whether it's grass, concrete, gravel, all of these are non-slip unless you've sort of got polished glass. I can't actually visualise what would be a slippery surface then.
I think perhaps the wording on page 24, where the rule is up the top and 5 in orange, it says people with difficult non-slip surface to enable safe access in wet or icy conditions. So it doesn't mean to say it's slippery all the time. It's a surface that will become difficult for a person with disabilities in wet or icy conditions.
So that's really just polished concrete and that sort of stuff, which does that.
Fine. Tim?
Well, one of the things that, like you see quite often, a brushed concrete finish, like that's rather than polished.
And in all honesty, with developments and everything like this, and you're seeing it more and more, as long as it's not ridiculous, because every now and again you do come across the odd ridiculous one. This isn't it. But something that is accessible for people with a disability is actually good for everyone.
That's exactly correct. And
That's
for
right.
example, if it's in a garage, that's a perfectly suitable surface because it's not going to get icy or wet.
Yep.
The issue there, though, is that even bitumen can be slippery if it's wet and the water sits in there, it can ice up. So,
That's fine.
Okay. We might get some clarification by further definition, if you're able to find that. Okay. So we're through with life mark parking requirements. Is there another section we now need to turn to under transport?